My name is FunkyBlood, and today I will see if I can ruin your day by having something to say. As you might have guessed, today's topic is the latest record by Tymek called Popularne. The album is 17 tracks long, and I have some things to say about it. But before that, I think it's necessary to go over Tymek's whole discography before doing that. Tymek in 2017 released an album, you can see it here, and it was not that great, and there were a lot of amateur mistakes that prevented it from having even good tracks on it. I mean, the only two tracks that left me thinking that they were actual quality were Her and 1111, and everything besides that was not great. But after that, in 2018, Tymek released Sono, which was somehow much more spacier and somehow much more focused at the same time, which resulted in actually a fantastic album. It's something that has so much awesome songs on it, like Take, Air, Pills, Instać Pune, just classics. And the premise for that album was just basically make a bunch of songs that are about either partying or bettering yourself or telling people off, basically. And that was awesome. But after that, in 2018, Tymek released Club, which was alright. I know that people love the shit out of that one more so than Sono, but I just think it's an elevated debut, and that's it really. I mean, it's shorter, and on that album Tymek just went back to making a bunch of lowbrow gangster kind of music, and it worked out mostly. There are some tracks of that album that are the biggest of his entire career, like Body Language, which is a great track. You should listen to it. The album Fit was probably recorded in 2019, but it had like so much bad features, just awful production, and I just hated it. It was bad. And Vertigo, something like that, was just sad songs, and I don't know why he made them, but they were just awful. Like Body Language 2020, oh my god, that was so shitty. Oh my god. I know that probably not everyone will agree with me, but just no. And the last endeavor of Tymek in 2020, Piazza Vole, was definitely a step in the right direction. There were much more energetic songs than Vertigo and Fit, and it was like a return to Sono almost, but for me it was kind of overblown to the point of being just fine in some aspects, which was kind of annoying. Then there was almost a year of silence, And then Tymek returned with some music videos and the title Popular, and some songs like Beethoven, Marilyn Monroe, Sophia Loren, Mickey Mouse, made people go like, huh, maybe he's gonna make a diss track to all things popular or something. And I mean, he came nowhere close to even doing that. These songs were just a gimmick, really. And then the whole record came out, and I listened to it, and it's alright. But the shocker is the songs that were, I guess, the part of a concept people thought the album was gonna be about, they were not that great and didn't even take up the whole album at all. There are like 10 tracks not even coming close being about a diss about something popular, like, I don't know, Pleasure, Frisbee, Child, Hacker. There are a lot of tracks that I really don't like. Maybe don't like is a strong word. I just don't like thinking about. I guess that's a word for it. There are a lot of tracks here that aren't great or good. The production on most of these tracks is just fine, but sometimes the tracks that have wonderful production behind them just it just feels mismatched to the actual tone and the bars being thrown around, the bars being said, because there are a couple of songs that have so much repetition in them it hurts. Like Hacker, Palante, and After were just like Hack, 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 Palante, 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 Palante. I understand that it is like gratifying or something for people, but I just think that the only context it can work is for like Gucci Gang and Gucci Gang only, and like maybe literally not in a Lil Peep like songs. He is whispering them and it is just awful to listen to. But coming back to bars and the concept of this album, they are not present at all. Where like tracks like Marilyn Monroe and Pokemons and Sophia Loren have literally like one line, repeated line too, that reference the title of the track, and that's it. But Mickey Mouse just maybe the worst thing I have heard from him, period. It's a party song and the Mickey Mouse is like used as a character and an adjective at the same time for some reason. Like he says Mickey Mouse mood a couple times, and a couple times he as Mickey Mouse asks for a Tesla. And how much does a Tesla have energy? And like the partner of Mickey Mouse has big, you know what? he says that like it means something. I don't get it. Maybe it means the Disney Corporation is gross and wants things, but it's just confusing as shit, and I don't get it. Ow. The best track I think he gets out of this concept is Beethoven, where he connects his music to the works of Beethoven. And he says like he's making bangers like him, and the production has some noises that sound like instruments. Is definitely a good idea, but what holds it back is the line where he says that he's gonna play Beethoven's symphony on a girl's lips. Like, what? And the bars that surround it, like, basically give the implication that he makes music that people like, and it's a bunch of makeout sessions or something, I don't know. But another thing that is kind of bad about it is that the effect on the vocals at the tail end are kind of bad, and they were kind of unnecessary because they just sound like a bunch of wheezing, and it's awful. But overall, it's probably the best out of the bunch. And by bunch, I mean the tracks that have something to do with the core idea of the record. Besides those tracks having something to do with being popular, are a bunch of tracks about making bangers, making the best music in Poland, and partying. It has nothing to do with taking down popular things, really, which is fine, but it just results in mostly 6 out of 10 songs like Cielo Blu, Child, Frisbee. One thing that I think is kind of funny on Il Diavolo, he says, I'm making a bunch of numbers. Where did you get my number? Now they're calling me. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But now I'll talk about some of the best material on here. And the best song on here is definitely Cocaine. And the title might sound like it is about snorting cocaine, but it's actually a clever subversion that is just awesome. And that this track isn't about snorting cocaine, it's about that the town is sucking you in, and it gets wild from there. The production is hard hitting, the synths are ear piercing in the best way possible. Something I want to say also is that the other two great tracks from here are Popular and Pleasure. And yeah, they're also about making great music, but the production on them is just so freaking great. Also, like the little disco synths on the back of Popular are just fantastic and makes me like the track even more. Also, I forgot to mention, basically half of the material here, he kind of just goes into being a mumble rapper, and it's quite strange because he had such a force of personality on previous records, and like here out of the blue he's just like and what? Why are you doing that? I guess because he looks like Lil Peep, he just starts making music like Lil Peep. Overall, the premise of this record isn't that bad, but it's just too gimmicky and not even utilized at all for me to appreciate it. But yeah, there's some terrific, hard hitting, just heavy songs that I love, and the bulk of it is just kind of meh. It's definitely a new direction, but it's not that great of a direction at all. Do I recommend it at the end of the day? Sure. The production is worth it at some points, even on the mech tracks like Marilyn Monroe or Beethoven or Hacker, but much of the songs here are below average even for him. I'm gonna give it a 6.3. I did enjoy it at parts. Video over.